Hi, I'm Hanbit, and I'm a pastry chef from Korea. Hi everybody, it's Hanbit here. 안녕하세요, 조한빛입니다. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make amazing lemon bars. I love lemon bars. They are irresistible because they're so good. And also, you can make these lemon bars with ingredients that you would find in a regular home kitchen. How amazing is that? It is so simple, and trust me, it is so easy to make this. I actually prefer chewy than being soft. So with my recipe, you'll be able to see that you'll get a rather chewy lemon filling rather than a soft lemon filling. I just like it that way. Well, why don't we start right away? The overall structure is rather simple. You'll start by making the shortbread crust, which goes at the bottom. You'll pre-bake it, then make the lemon filling, and then pour that on top. So essentially, you are blind baking the shortbread crust. Right, so I'll start with the shortbread crust. The ingredients are extremely simple. I've got 4 ingredients here. Room temperature butter, sugar, salt, and lemon zest, and finally, cake flour. If you don't have cake flour, you can use all-purpose flour. That should be fine. Actually, thinking about it, there are 5 ingredients rather than 4 because I forgot to count the salt. But you get the idea. Few ingredients. Very simple. I'll start by smoothing the soft butter. And when I say soft butter or room temperature butter, I'm talking about butter at around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius, so you can actually smooth it out. The tip here is that when you're smoothing the butter and mixing in all these ingredients, you want to be gentle. You don't want to incorporate too much air because there's a shortbread crust that goes at the bottom. And you don't want that to puff up, right? You want that to be flat at the bottom. That's why you don't want a lot of air. So just simply mix, mix, mix. Great, now sugar and lemon zest. The lemon zest will provide the underlying lemon flavor to the shortbread crust. And now mix the sugar. Just be gentle. And finally, sifted cake flour. I'm using cake flour here rather than all-purpose flour because I want the overall texture of this shortbread crust to be rather light. I don't want it to be heavy. But if you don't have cake flour, using all-purpose flour is fine. Right, so that's all done, really. Now place them on a parchment paper. The whole idea is that I will be using this pan today, and it's 13.5 by 13.5, which means I want to spread this out into kind of rough thickness such that it forms a 13.5 to 13.5 square. So this is roughly 13.5 by 13.5 square. Great, now I'm going to put this in the freezer for half an hour. Here's my shortbread crust out of the freezer. And now I'm going to put it in the pan and then bake it. Perfect, that fits nicely. So now I'm going to bake this in the preheated oven. Great, my shortbread crust has just come out of the oven, and the tip here is while it's hot, while the shortbread crust is hot, which means as soon as it comes out of the oven, do press the sides like this. This is fairly important because if the gap between the shortbread crust and the edge of the pan is wide, what's going to happen is when you pour the lemon filling is pretty much like liquid. It's very liquid-like. So that's going to fill that gap, which isn't great. I'm now going to let this cool down completely and then work on the lemon filling. Now, time for the lemon filling. The ingredients are quite simple. Whole eggs, lemon zest and sugar, and a bit of salt, cake flour. If you don't have cake flour, you can use all-purpose flour. And finally, fresh lemon juice. I'm first going to add the sugar, salt, and lemon zest into the eggs and try and dissolve as much as possible. If the eggs are cold, it will be rather difficult to dissolve the sugar. So the best is to use a hot water bath to raise the temperature of the eggs to around 40 degrees Celsius and then try to dissolve the sugar. With my eggs here, I've already raised the temperature to around 40 degrees Celsius. The purpose here is to mix and dissolve all the sugar rather than to incorporate air, so just be gentle. Great, I can see that all the sugar is dissolved, so now it's time to add in the sifted cake flour. The tip here is to gradually add the liquid, so in this case the eggs, into the cake flour, which is the dry ingredients, rather than the other way around. This is a very useful tip when you're working with a lot of liquid compared to the dry ingredients. If you add the dry ingredients into a lot of liquid, it's going to form lumps and it's going to be difficult to kind of dissolve and mix everything together. Add part of the liquid and mix it so that it feels like paste. So gradually add in steps. This way you won't get lumps. You can see that all the flour has mixed in very well without any lumps. So now I'm going to add in the rest. Right, so everything's mixed well. And finally, the fresh lemon juice. Perfect, that looks great. Just going to scrape the side, and that's pretty much it. Just going to tap it a few times to remove any excess air. Great, now I'll pour this over the shortbread crust that I pre-baked earlier. Any excess bubbles on top, I'm just going to pop it using a blowtorch. Great, now I'm going to bake this in the preheated oven. This has just come out of the oven and I can actually smell the lemon. It just smells amazing and I can't wait to try it. But before I can do that, I need to let it cool down completely before I can actually take it out of the pan. And by the way, the lemon filling should be slightly wobbly when it's just out of the oven. If it's not wobbly at all, it means it's overbaked. So it should be slightly wobbly. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this on a cooling rack and cool it down at room temperature. Once it cools down enough, I'm going to put this in the fridge and let it set overnight. Now here's my lemon bar that's been in the fridge overnight. It's all set, looks really good, and now I'm going to cut it into slices. I'm first going to cut the edges off so it looks nice and neat. Perfect. I've got nice lemon bars here, so I'm going to do the final decoration by dusting some snow sugar on top. Finally, it's time to try my amazing lemon bar. Wow, the tanginess from the lemon is amazing. It is so refreshing. And together with the chewiness and the fudginess, I love this lemon bar. Hope you've enjoyed this lesson on Hambit's lemon bar. It's really easy to make and you only need ingredients that you would find in a regular home kitchen. So how great is that? So please give it a go. Share the love with your families and friends, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
I don't know if you know yet.